Okay, folks, back again. All right. So here we got, I better keep this handy. Here we got the three Shermans. Can't even count to three. So, man, this is kind of rinky-dink there. But we did put the filler on here. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to do these tracks. I didn't have time to do that this morning, but let's assemble these tracks. And then we're going to customize these three Shermans so they look different from each other. The old rubber band track. I wonder how tight these are going to be to get the candle back out here again. It actually worked out all right with the half track. There's a lot of extra flash on these models. A lot. So much so that you got greetings from Norway. Welcome. There you go. Man, it's late where you're at. I wish we had Norway weather. It was kind of hot here, but so yeah, we even have flash here on the tracks here. No big deal. This is mostly all going to be hidden. But these little tanks aren't perfect. I had to do a lot of little things to them to make them presentable. We'll probably do some other stuff as well. I did some internet surfing and took and saved some photos of these things. We got our customizable bits to put on these, that I made myself. You could buy commercial stuff, but I hate to spend $20 on like commercial stuff, and then like I have to make molds of it also. So, how was my day? Great. How was yours? It was okay. Almost midnight. Yeah. Patriotic American. Well, it's Sherman's. There you go. How can I say this? I am a recent fan of Sherman's. I didn't used to like them. Until I got a bunch of them, and I'm like, all right, well, we got to give them some personality, right? Because if you just turn around and just paint them all one color, well, that's just boring. Well, that's on you. You got to give them nicknames and I never thought they were trash. I just didn't get excited about them, you know? But they're a heck of a lot more exciting than modern tanks. I'm not a fan of modern stuff, the war game or whatever. Build models of them, etc. We're going to put this on the inside, so it won't matter. All right, there's one set. And where's the other one? I hope we have enough. What's going on here? I wasn't expecting that challenge. Here they are. They're over there. They're over here. It's unusual not to have a full set of tracks, but that has happened to me with a T-34-85. These people that build all these tanks, they can't all be German tanks. The Germans have to fight somebody. And I don't think all German tanks are cool. Some of the paint jobs are like, man, I wouldn't do that. But I do like to do Russians and I do like to do Americans because The British are a little bit better than them because the British at least have like have great markings for like their units and divisions and stuff like that. I'd say even better than the German stuff. The British division markings are freaking awesome. Yeah, well, first of all, they're big, and you could put them like on the tank, and you could see them at a distance. And I'm not just saying desert rat stuff. I mean, there's other stuff that's not desert rats that looks good. But like the American divisional markings just suck. You know, Fourth Armored Division's a four, a little triangle, and then the serial number of the. We're going to put these on stands, anyways. These are going to be for. I'm going to say they're going to be for Northwest Europe, but I guess they could be for Italy as well. I'm not going to make them for Tunisia. Um, Specifically. But I already have 10 Shermans painted, so this is 11, 12, and 13. And I have another one to do also, which is a die-cast M4A3. These are M4s. Actually, I have a few more to do. I've got another armor fast to do that I've lost the mantlet. I've remade the mantlet, haven't painted it yet. That's one. Then I got another armor fast is in a grab bag. That's two of them. Those are 1/72. They look pretty big. We have the M4A3 die cast, and we've got these three. So that's six more Shermans. It'd be seven. It'd be seven more Shermans. Oh, and I've got the big Matchbox one. That one's been primed but not finished. All right, let's see how the fit and finish is on this thing. If we need to make this significantly bigger. I didn't have to on the other side. Let's lose this. No, this should work. This should work. So what we're going to do is we're going to just use a staple on this. It was a little tricky doing the staple on the, which is what we did here, right? Yep. How's my day going? Well, I'm at work. I'm not at work, so I have no problems at home, which is good because you're not getting paid for them at home. Just make sure this is lined up how it's supposed to be. Well, so much for lining that up. What the hell happened? I guess the center of that's not where it looked like it was. Ah, it's slipping. Ah. See which side looks better. We'll put that one towards the outside. Actually got rain today. It hasn't rained in, I swear, a month. There we go. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I swear I'm lining up, but I guess it's slipping at the last minute. Well, it's not a big deal, but it is kind of annoying that I'm trying to be precise, and that's not good enough. I think this calls for a drink. Time to start kicking the Coke habit in. So, of course, the coolest thing about the Shermans, probably the coolest thing about Shermans. Actually, there's several things that are really cool about them. But the coolest thing, I think, is you can make a case for them all having nicknames. And that's just like, that's right down my alley. Not ones that aren't period specific. Which I guess you could, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna have they're not going to be in language that doesn't get used at the time. You don't want one named, penis wrinkle or something like that. Like, that's not a term. It's being used in 1940s America. There we go. That's what we want. That's what we like to see. Besides, that'd be P Company. You couldn't do P Company. That's way too far down the line. Although there is a company called District Miniatures, and they probably have the most prolific set of decals of anybody that I can think of. It's really pretty impressive. And in the decals, they have tank nicknames is one of the things you can get, and they have some pretty inappropriate names. Yeah, and this is the remanufactured back end, which it's got some gap issues there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. That I'm not going to spend a ton of time trying to fill the gap. I bet I could fudge it well enough that nobody's really going to notice it unless they're going to look for it. But yeah, there's some pretty inappropriate nicknames, and I don't know if they're based on real vehicles. I would imagine that they are. You got one that's named for a tank called Tina's Titties. I'm like, well, I guess that's T Company. I think HQ units kind of broke from that, but regular tanks, they have nicknames that'll start with a company, whatever company they are, and T would be way down there. That's a whole lot of companies. So I'm pretty sure I was an HQ vehicle. Yeah, it's slipping is what it is. As far as tracks go, these are all right. There's some tracks that are just a real pain to deal with, and this isn't them. These are okay. You know, for these rubber type tracks, these aren't bad. Could be a lot worse. Well, I tried to get on here as quick as I could, but where are my Brits at? They asleep? Tea break? I really did want to make these Shermans for the British in Italy. I really did, but they're not the right version. I could probably do it and nobody would know except me, and it would drive me crazy. There we go. That's just enough to that's a lot more. You know, the melting it doesn't work bad. The problem is you get one shot at it. So if you blow that, you're screwed. Okay. Well, this is right here. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay. All right. So we got three Shermans. We can get rid of this. I'm actually gonna do what I never do, which is take this back to where it goes. So I'll be right back. All right. Let's put the other glasses on and let's grab. Let's not put that far. Water? I don't. We're not gonna need any water today. I got a lot of stuff to do before I got to worry about decals. And at least one of these, at least one of these is going to have the stars blocked out. So in other words, where there were stars there and they painted over them, so it's not too obvious, but it still looks like it's painted over because I haven't done one of those yet. So let's look and see what we've got here in our sheet styrene land. Now, I've got this one. I'm not going to open that one unless I have to. Let's see what we got here. Because I don't need a whole lot of this. What do we got here? Hi, Mr. Tony, you American soldier. Thanks, Jackson. Adima, East African, Kampala, Uganda. I am not an American soldier. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Or maybe you're happy that I'm not an American soldier. Kampala, that's the capital. Hope you're doing well over there, man. This is the same thickness. I didn't think I could find this, but I found this. This is the same thickness. What we're going to do is we're going to put, and I'm not sure if it's too thick. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Well, there's no point opening this up because it's the same thickness of this. So we're going to set this off to the side. I guess if I wanted something thinner, I could use like, lids to, a lid to something like this. I think that's too thin. I'm going to go with this. I've got nothing to lose. I already have that material. All right, so I know we're going to need this. Let me go find my Sherman bits. Let's see if I can find my Sherman bits on the fly. Let's see what we got here. We ended up shoving all this stuff in here. What is this? The hell is this the truck to? I don't even remember anymore. I don't lose stuff. I just end up misplacing it. Okay, not there. I'm just working my way methodically. All right, we got more Shermans here. Well, that's important. That's important because I was off on my Sherman count. We have another one. And we're going to paint Shermans. Let's paint some Shermans. Oh, I have another Schwimmwagen. Well, what's the meaning of this? This one not get finished or something? I don't know. I got so much stuff. I picked up a lot of things that at flea markets and places where people didn't want stuff. Like, we don't want this. You got any use for this? I'm like, yeah, I'm not throwing. Yeah, you're not throwing that away. Here's another Sherman. This is an M4A1 cast. I wonder why the track's not on it. Okay. Here's more tracks. Couple spare road wheels. Spare road wheels? Yeah, spare road wheels. Extra tracks there for extra armor. This is the Matador. Okay. I think that's what we were looking for. I don't think I have any more other than that. What we got here? Forgot about this guy. No, that's German stuff. Okay. And we also have, in my American bits, extra stuff here. So, we've got some hedgerows. Take a look at that. The hedgerow thingies. More bits there. We got all kinds of stuff, man. People like to rip on the Sherman, but really the only thing you're allowed to rip on the Sherman is they're painted boringly. That's it. Everything else about them, and that's on you. You could solve that by giving them fun nicknames and stuff like that. All right. Now, first things first, let's see what the situation here is on the tracks. And why it stopped working on this thing. Did we run into a situation? Let's see what we got here. Of course, I took the stapler away. Well, I'm not afraid to go in and get it again. Let's see how the fit is on this. Oh yeah, it's not even close. Okay, so that's what the problem is this track is not even remotely close. No, I am not an American soldier, but I do play one on the tabletop. No, and I am not one of those people that only does things because it's American. I'm certainly not one of those people. As a matter of fact, I tend to err on the other side. Because I am American, I tend to not play Americans a lot because, I'm already blessed I get to be one every day, so. Okay, I see what the situation is here. So I think the way to deal with this, firstly, is to probably hot glue gun this. I'm probably going to hot glue gun the track on here. And then when it's on the stand, I will just put goop in between here and then it's a non-issue. And I'm prepared to do that now because that's one thing I really want to start doing a lot more often than I have in the past. And that's using the hot glue gun. Because I didn't get one until recently. And man, it is handy to use one. A lot of the epoxy duties could be done by the hot glue gun. So let's see how that works. And if it doesn't work, you can peel the hot glue gun off and go from there. Now, I don't think I want to use the hot glue gun in this. I'm not sure. Yeah, here's where people say, well, first of all, this is a 170, no, it's the same scale. So here's what we're talking about, this Airfix kit. A lot of people have a problem with it because the turret's too small. Look at the turret sizes. Now, this should be the same turret. Yeah, this basically should be the same damn turret on both of them. And they're both in the same scale. The difference is this is a cast hull Sherman. And this is a welded hull Sherman. So this is an M4A1, this is an M4. But you can see the size of the turrets is significant. So this has a turret that's too small. I don't know if this turret is accurate or not, but it's more in line with about the size it should be. But I don't keep that from bothering. What are you going to do? Buy a bunch of replacement turret? I mean, this thing costs $2. I got these on sale. Maybe that's why somebody was selling them. But they'll look the part when we're done with them. And I started with that attitude because when I got back into doing this, all I gotta do is find the right drawer that the hot glue gun is in. Or did I leave it on the other table? No. I wanted to rebuild a bunch of kits that I had from a long time ago. And a long time ago, I would just buy whatever that was available in the store. So I wasn't particular about whether it was 172nd or 176th. It was close enough. Because that was in a time period where you couldn't really mail order things. Like you got to grab things while you can. Because sometimes you pick up something that you end up with a bunch of mismatched stuff. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in here. So, I'm getting back into this and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with all these things that are out of scale? Well, I either stick to one of the two scales, which I prefer 172nd, because the figures are a little bit bigger. So it goes a little bit better with the scale of the figures. But I'm not just going to not use the 176 scale stuff. So I'm just like, all right, well, let's just roll with it. See what happens. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now, let's make sure we don't fuck this up. All right, I believe the track, this pattern of the track is like a V when you look at it. So let's take a look at our pictures. Sherman tank track. That is correct. It is like a V or like a U when you're looking at the front of it. Okay? Let's get our phone away from a hot glue gun. It's probably not a good combination. And let's get these little Shermies out of the way. I forgot all about this guy. Now, if we're going to airbrush stuff, let's go knock them all out. Now this does have a low and a high setting. We're putting it on high right now to get it up to temperature. Think it came with enough glue? Hey, you like tanks? Everybody does. I think everybody likes tanks, right? Can we agree that everybody likes tanks? They don't have to like the same one. All right, so let's think about this normally. I don't want to hot glue anything on the top because it's going to squish out. If it squishes out of the bottom, I don't have a problem with it because we're going to put it on some ground anyways. You have a tank in your brain. Well, then you definitely like tanks. What's your favorite tank? You know, I get asked that all the time and I don't have one. I do not have a favorite tank. There's just too many that I like. I like most of them. Let's put a little bit there, 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 a little bit there. All right, gotta work quick. Now, the nice thing about the hot glue gun is it's kind of like rubber cement. If you screw up, you get another chance at life. I'm gonna hold this for a little bit just so it cools down enough. How you doing this today? Kakostomi. What's that on your icon? It looks like a. It's kind of hard to make out what it is. Like an Amiga computer or something. Mira eso. Look at that. Look at that. Fantabulous. And you don't have to worry about track sag on this because there's nowhere for it to go. It's held upright by, and we'll end up gluing this and this will end up working fine. Look at that. Now we have a gap of track here. It doesn't matter. Look at that. Now this is, you come on here and we will find things that go sideways and hopefully I'll give you guys the confidence to, like not be dissuaded. Because that's what would happen to me 20 years ago. I'd encounter something, I'm like, I'd put the track on, like, bam, I broke the axle. I'm like, shit, now what do? I move off to the side and you move on to something else. And you got all these half-built models that I'm like, man, that just feels like crap. Just having stuff that you can't finish. So, all right, so these two and those three. Got it. Here we go again. All these years I should have had a hot glue gun. Who'd have known? Gotta work fast. Fastish. There's all kinds of stuff that sometimes goes wrong. You just gotta overdo. You just got to overpower that. You're not gonna. You can't let this stuff bring you down. Now, I could have made this one for the desert British. I could have made this a British desert one. But what's one British desert tank going to get me? Nothing. So, we'll give them the proper treatment when we get around to it. I think this is a Fujimi. Now we got to play the game. Figure out where the heck this is connected to. We know it can connect there. It's not touching anywhere on the top of this, so there's no point even putting that down. And then this sits at the top there. All right, so let's super saturate this. Let's unplug this guy. We don't need to leave this on all the time. But 20 years ago, I didn't have a hot glue gun. I didn't have years of dealing with issues at work. Years of dealing with issues. Like this is like none of this is a problem. It's like, oh, you're going to be difficult? All right, let's be difficult. I will whoop your ass and you'll get built. This one's really good looking. Okay. I'm going to move this to the other table, which is my painting table, where no painting is going on at the moment. And you can make some of this stuff look really good. Here's a die-cast toy I have. This is a die-cast armored car. Turned out pretty well for a damn $3 toy. So, none of these tanks are going to be winterized, though. All right. Do we have any more? I feel like I got another Sherman or two down here. Oh my god, I have yet another one. Because this is an M4A3. That's a die-cast one. And I have another one. This is the one that I bought for my buddy Scott. I got the one that I got from Marty out there as well. Oh yeah, look at this. This is significant. It looks significantly bigger. Here's the M4A. That's the one from Armor Fast. Sherman's ahoy! All right, I'm gonna go out to the garage and go get those two die-cast things. We'll put them back together here. Be right back. Okay, so let's move this out of here as well. And I feel like I still have a Sherman or two laying around. So thinking outside the box here. How many of these M4A3s do I have that are die cast? Which, by the way, this model is the same as this one. Or maybe a different paint scheme of it, but it's the same thing. It's die cast. And I've already built, or I've already repainted two of them before. You end up looking like that. So I've got two winterized Battle Bulge ones that are not very good quality. I'm probably going to winterize this one as well, only because this is such a late vehicle that they didn't use these at Normandy. So I'm probably going to bulge this one out with winter camo. And I'm probably going to do the same thing. I don't have an M4A3 for winter. So I'm probably going to do the same thing with this one. So even though I just pulled these out, let me put them back in. I need to get them all in one place anyways. And this one's already been primed and painted, and it has a wash on it. So this thing's ready to roll on that one. This just another half track. This one I think is it's a pretty decent camouflage, but I think this is more like for like Marines or something like that. I got 3 of those. I picked these up for $5. They probably used to be like 4 or something. And then this thing is just really, really big. Now, in this bag, I got some unloved stuff, including another one of these. I think it's the same model. However, its tracks are no good. These tracks have crumbled. The rubber on them is completely crumbled. So I'm going to remove the tracks. I have a pair of spare tracks for the Sherman. I just don't remember where my bag of junk is. It's going to be in my bag of junk. It's going to be in my bag of junk. And I think if I had to guess where it was, it would be down here. Bag of junk is, I got a lot of this, some of the stuff was handed to me that somebody didn't want. It's not going to be there. I don't know what I did with it. not there. Yeah, pretty soon I'm gonna give up and just roll with what I have. That hot glue gun worked a heck of a lot better than I thought it was going to. I don't know how durable it is, but it should be durable enough until you glue it on the stand. It's like a big clear plastic bag of, I don't think it's in the garage. SS King Tiger. Oh, you want to see it? That's the old Eshy model. Man, where are all my crash models? I want to see if I can get the tracks for that thing. It's obviously not here. Oh, look at that. I found something I needed to find. We'll talk about what that is in a second. That's super cool that I found that. More German stuff. Yes, that's all German stuff. Here it is. Here it is. All right. We got ourselves a treasure trove. Yeah, it's actually an old model. But actually look okay. And if I remember correctly, it didn't come with the extra tracks that are on the turret. Okay? If you look at a King Tiger, it's very hard to find a King Tiger that doesn't have these extra pieces of spare track on the turret. They have them for extra track and also for extra protection because that's where the ammo is stored on the inside of the tank. Okay? The armor can never be too thick there. So what I ended up having to do was I made a mold of the ones that came with my Yag Tiger and molded these and put them on there. So we have a King Tiger that looks appropriate. It's an older model. It actually looks pretty decent for an older model. It's going to be a bulge King Tiger. And it's going to have some guy that looks like Hessler in there. Some Hessler looking dude. Okay, I found the treasure trove. Alright, let's put some... You have a good day today, Justin? Okay, this is really cool. Let me find the other thing in here. This is the land of unloved toys. So I didn't do any of this damage. This came to me like this. Here's another Sherman in here. And here's the turret for it. This is like stuff that was put together by somebody's kid, and then the kid got angry and destroyed it. I think this is all the stuff. I think there's another bag of it. Maybe I can bind them both. Here's a Tiger that's been destroyed, a Panzer II, a King Kong. Oh. These are extra Sherman pieces. Okay, here is a bit of plastic track for a Sherman, and here's more plastic track for a Sherman. And here's more plastic track for a Sherman. All right, we can work with this. We can work with this. I got the skills to be able to work with that. Okay. Now, let's put away things that we're totally not interested in. Now, this poor King Kong might actually have another purpose. This Panther's kaput. It's a long time in there. Here's parts of another Sherman. Here's a Panzer II. All right. So, this is an armor-fast Sherman that looks like it took a bomb that didn't penetrate to the roof of it. Okay? It was beautiful, beautiful, easy day at work. I did okay. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. We're going to, we're having a good day, man. We're finding all kinds of stuff here. Sherman's ahoy, Sherman's ahoy. So, why are we doing this? Well, let me grab the other Sherman. So when I bought these guys, these armor fast guys, they come 2 to a pack, and they're very boring looking. So I saw that online they make a set of enhancements for them by this company called Value Gear. And I think they do things in all other kind of scales. So this is what the Sherman looks like originally from Armorfast. It doesn't even have a machine gun on the front. Okay, this is actually not mine. This is one that I got from the trash pile, from the one this guy gave me. This is mine. Okay, and what happened during the travels with the Sherman was I actually lost the mantlet for it. Okay, I lost the mantlet for the Sherman. And in doing so, I had to make another one to get this one working. And this is the second one of my original one here. I actually had to use this mantlet, remove it from my tank, so I could make another casting and have another Sherman. Now, you notice this thing has some sandbags that come on it. Well, these sandbags come in a 4-pack. Well, I only had one of the Shermans, and here's the other one for it, but I've gained another one. And what's cool about this stuff is they're all specifically made for the Armorfast M4. And all 4 of them are different. Okay, so this is resin, and it literally fits over this. And all 4 of the fronts are different. They're slightly different. So I had one other one. I've gained a third one. So I'm going to be able to use 2 more of these fronts. Now, you could probably modify these and make them work for another Sherman. Maybe. Wow, you really could. Okay. Okay, fair enough. It's going to get even cooler than that. All right. Fun with Shermans. All right, let's get this Nazi shit out of the way. You Nazi bastard's going to have to wait. We're doing the good guys. Wow. Now, these look significantly bigger because they are. This is a 1/72nd scale. These are 1/76. All these are 1/76. And these are 1/76 with small turrets. Okay? So this is this Sherman. All these are the same one. These are the 2 that I got in the 2-pack, and I inherited this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to customize them. I'm going to leave this one here as an example. See how it has this loose? It looks like it's a loose road wheel. That's part of this stuff as well. And they also come with these logs that go on the side. So we got all this stuff to enhance all these Shermans. Plus, I've got applique armor and stuff that we're going to do. Okay, so that's what our goal is to make all of these primable. Moving on to the prime stage. Okay, so first things first, let's tackle the track situation. So I'm going to move these things off to the side. I've got one Sherman here that I inherited from Don that he had apparently in his attic somewhere. And because it was his attic somewhere, and the attic is in Florida, this thing has deteriorated. Now, I'm not going to keep pulling this track off because I may need some of it. Now, let's see what I have. And let's go ahead and fire up the hot glue gun again. This is some empowering stuff. Basically taking junk and making... I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to say, hey, Don, when I see him next week, hey, remember that thing you gave me that was basically a piece of crap? Well, here's what it looks like now. It's either that or throw it away, right? Well, there's no point in throwing this away. We could certainly make these usable. Okay, so we're going to fire this thing back up. All right, let's see what the situation there is on the tracks. And the reason I have the King Kong is the King Kong also has tracks in here as well. Now, the King Kong actually was reading a book about Sicily. They were having a hard time when they landed on Sicily. The Panzers were coming all the way up onto the beach on Sicily and shooting up stuff on the beach. It wasn't like Normandy where everything went. They got off the beach not relatively easy because it was a hard fight, but they were off the beach like the first day. That didn't happen in Sicily. And the Germans were bringing tanks and firing on the beach with the tanks. Well, they landed, I think, on like day 2 or 3. They landed in an artillery battalion that had some of these things, which this is basically, I think this is it may not be a 155. It might be bigger than that. Anyways, they direct fired these things like at people. You hit somebody, you hit any Panzer with the side of this, even a Tiger, they're going to be feeling it for a month. The crew's going to have to take a trip to the dentist. All right, so let's just remove the turret on here and let's see what we can salvage here. Now, this is the track that's extremely brittle. Let's see if we can use any of this stuff and patch it back up. Boy, it's just falling all over itself. And it's actually acting like it's plastic track. Okay, it looks like this. It looks like it's separate link track. All right, well, first things first, this thing's missing a road wheel. And it's missing a road wheel over here too. So do you have 2 extra road wheels? Now the whole point is to take all this stuff and go spray it at once. Now here's another Sherman that this met a terrible end. This thing is, this is... Okay, these are a little bit bigger. So these must be Eschi models. He didn't give me any extra wheels with this. But I don't think I can do anything with this. I'm missing Oh, this is the barrel for it? Okay. I have that. I have the hull. I have one side here. I have another side here. I need one set of suspension. So if we call this that set of suspension, I need 3 for this other side. 1, 2, 3, but we're missing road wheel. We're going to have to make this one a destroyed Sherman. We're going to have to make this one a destroyed Sherman. Which is an M4A1. An M4A1 destroyed Sherman. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this together. Except the running gear. Except the running gear. And we're going to take 2 road wheels from here and put them on this other Sherman. Check to see if any of them are loose. Might as well take those. There's one. And here's another one. Now, other than taking one of these out and making a casting of it, I think I am going to have to do that. These are just, they're too big. I think they're way too big. Let's give it an old English try. This is some empowering shit to pull all this stuff out. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. Are any wheels here that look even smaller? No. But this literally was junk somebody was going to throw away. So I'm like, I'm going to take that. Let's move this. We don't want to burn ourselves. Now the peg is still there, and this has a hole in it. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. Well, what the F was that? Probably a dried ass piece of track. Alright, so that's gonna go there. Everything else look okay on this? Yeah, I guess. We're missing another one over here. And we still have the pegs here, so let's open this up a little bit. Let's close it back down. It's either that or these go in the garbage. I just don't think these deserve to go in the garbage. Do you? I got nothing. I got nothing to lose. Now there's limits on. Oh, we don't need to lose you. There's limits on how much time I'm going to spend on it. Like for instance, I'm not going to pull all these wheels and like take the flash off of them because like they've got flash. Like okay, that's just a detail too far. GB Models, Australia, welcome. Oh, we're trying to repair some tanks here that were basically handed to me as junk. By the way, how's this one holding up with the hot glue gun? It came off. The hot glue gun came off. All right. So I was like overly excited about it. It might actually not work. It might actually not work. We might have to upgrade to epoxy. Well, shit. Well, let's have a go at it again. Let's just do one at a time. Yeah, the good thing about the hot glue gun is you don't like how it turns off. Just peel it off. Well, shit, easier said than done. I didn't really want to get the epoxy out. It's kind of a mess. You end up wasting so much. And we're going to put this on a stand, so all this will be invisible. And if this doesn't take, I'm going to have to take a different tack on this. And the different tack is going to be just go back to just doing one of them at a time. Like gluing this on a stand. And again, this is something that somebody gave me that was already broken. So my option's like, don't accept it or throw it in the garbage or let somebody else throw it in the garbage. Like, pretty much a no-brainer. So don't think that I made this. Nope. All right. What's the situation of this bloody thing? We have all the road wheels here, which we can adjust accordingly. What do we have here? We have a piece that's... Well, first of all, they came with these hard bits, which looks like it may have been separate link track at some point. I'm just going to glue this with the hot glue gun so we can keep on moving on. I'd like to prime these guys tonight, but we got to do a fair amount of building still to them. Now, I'm not particularly concerned about this track section here in the bottom because they are going to be on stands, which means there's going to be goop down there, and I can fade that in there like it's not really an issue. But I'm going to try to assemble as much of this again as I can. Now what's the other side look like? It's even less complete. Okay, well, what do we have here? This is a rubber piece, so we can... And what's this? This is another rubber piece. This is from the... Oh, it's not even from the King Kong. It's from this other one that's in pieces. All right, well... Is this big enough to go all the way around? Because this tank's it's an okay shape. When we paint it, it'll be all right. Well, I don't think I'm going to risk it. Ripping off what's... Once we get this thing on a stand, it's going to stop falling apart. Okay, that part's okay. What am I going to do with that piece that's up here missing at the top? I think we're going to use this. It is so brittle. No, I think I'm going to have to remove... Yeah, this is all just crumbling apart. All right, let's go ahead and remove this. Even though the part I just put on there actually sticks on there pretty well. Where's the little tweezers that I have. They're oh so useful. All right, let's remove this. This is just crumbling like an old cockroach. I'm going to remove this. It's actually stuck on there pretty well. Why are you fixing somebody else's mistakes? I don't know. Empowering. What else do we have here? Boy, this is just, and I can't even keep this stuff. It's just falling apart. This is in some attic that just got baked into oblivion. All right, let's move over to this side. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rubber track on this. And if it doesn't seal all the way, it doesn't matter. We'll leave an open gap here at the bottom. How's this faring, by the way? It'll end up being just fine. So I got nothing to lose. It's an opportunity to make something great. Doesn't have a whole machine gun. Yeah, we'll fix that. There we go. Oh no, let's not have that break off. Okay, we've cleared that out. Now we'll go over to this side. All right, now, this is a crumbler, so is this one. I might keep a couple of these pieces to use as spare tracks on it, because they're going to get glued to the side. How's this bastard doing? We got a full charge, we're about to find out. All right, now, did we leave ourselves enough room? First of all, let's see if this fits all the way around. And then if so, then we will staple this and then slide it in there. Okay. Or is it too long? Well, I wasn't expecting that. Okay. All right, fair enough. And then we can straighten this thing out when we put that together. It's too long. All right. That's all right. Watch this one. This one will be too short. Is this part of it that just broke? Can we cover it? Can we cover the top of it? That could have happened. What happened to me the other day, which is I had a piece of spare track and it was so old that when I ended up putting it on my T3485, it actually split, and now I've got an issue that I got to deal with. Okay, so the only thing I don't like about this is that this is going to put me in a situation where the two ends are both on areas that are rounded. I'm not a fan of that. So I think given the choice, I don't want a hot glue gun anything to the top. That's going to be very hard to reach. Well, we'll just try to do the best we can there. All right, let's start off with where do we want this thing to meet up? Say on one of these solid wheels here. This one's not. This one's not really solid. It's kind of cattywampus. Let's give it a little bit more. Let's do the easy side first. Got to do the easy stuff first. That way you're working on something for a while and you have something to show for it. All right. So, hot glue gun there. Hot glue gun there. And a little bit here. Shit, yeah, we're gonna leave that like that. I'm pretty confident we'll be able to do something with this. And not spending any, $15 on a set of tracks, something like that. That wouldn't be worth it. Now this side, I'm happy with it looking like that because by the time I'm done painting it, adding mud and stuff to it. Now this side is going to take. Good. All right. So let's hold this. We'll hold that down. Where does this go? We're gonna need to gooptify this quite a bit, and gooptify this here as well. Like I said, I've got nothing to lose other than a little bit of time. Man, I got a lot of Shermans. A lot. But the advantage of having a lot of something is you don't have to decide like, okay, I've got one Sherman to make, and you spend like, how am I going to paint it? Just like paint something you think is cool, because there's lots of other ones to do. It's like peace of mind. Wow, it held. Yeah, this is gonna, like I said, this is gonna be on a stand, and I got half a mind to put this on a stand before I paint it. Normally, I don't like to do it that way, but I think something can be said for doing it this way and then not having this come undone on you. Yeah, see, if I was doing this with epoxy, I would have a royal mess on my hands. And I've never done this before. This kind of theatrics, tank theatrics. Now, what we're going to do is when we get back over here, it ain't pretty, but it'll work. Yeah, this part came undone. No big deal. You can't do this with epoxy. I'd be like, be stuck to this area. We'll be able to do this. I've done much more difficult things. The hot glue gun is super, super handy. Now, let's do what we said we were going to do. I already have one stand here for the Sherman. So we know this is the size stand that we like to put them on. Okay, yeah, it's coming undone. It's all right. Like I said, this is an epoxy, so we're good. It's not even that hot to burn yourself or anything. All right. We definitely want to make two stands. I'm not going to use this one only because that one's got the goop on it that is really old, and I'm going to have to spend a long time scraping that off. So let's grab another couple of stands. With any bit of luck, I'll have one that's already cut to the right dimensions. This is the right dimensions. We have another couple here, not the right dimension. We can't quite make two out of these. Was this length, wasn't it? Yeah. And it's only these two because the tracks and stuff were kind of precarious because they literally were falling apart. Were these by the same? Yeah, the same person had these hidden in their attic. You know, if you're not going to work on things for a while, don't live in Florida and hide things in your attic because it's not going to be in a good condition when you get around to doing it. God, it's early. Now, we're going to do something that we may or may not regret. And the only reason I would regret it is because it might be a pain in the butt to get the goop in there afterwards. But I'm okay with it being dark underneath there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some of this hot glue gun and really squish this thing on here. And then it'll already be attached. Like I said, you can't do this with epoxy. I'd be like, you know, I'd ruin all kinds of shit. Okay, I'm hopeful. I've done a couple hundred vehicles. None have been this problematic as these two. But I think we got this. I think we got this. Fortunately, neither one of the two weigh anything, so that we don't have all kinds of pressures that are on this thing. In other words, you know, they're not like crushing themselves or anything like that. They're you know, they're light. They're super light. Okay. All right. Good. Now we can do the fun part. That was the non-fun part. But if you guys don't have a hot glue gun, I highly recommend you getting one with some temperature control. That's the Gorilla brand one, which seems to be pretty good. It was relatively inexpensive. $18, something like that. I should have had one years ago. Years ago, I should have had one. Super, super handy. All right, let's look at some photos. All right, here's our bits of this stuff. And this is the one that we actually we made. It's very, very basic. I guess I should take the opportunity to go ahead and glue this mantlet back on here. But this set of the Value Gear resin stuff, it's pretty cool because all four of them, it came with a 4-pack. All four of them are different. And there's just slightly different. Like this one's got like an extra spare wheel up here. This one has it hidden under here. And it enhances how these look because these are extremely basic looking tanks. And they're made specifically for this particular model. If you look on here, you see the Value Gear actually has Armor Fast. They actually make an M4A3, an M4, and M4A2. And they also make ones for the Dragon, and I got these a long time ago. You know, sandbag fronts and are made to fit specific kits. Make installation easy and use X-Acto to shave off pins, headlights, and lifting hooks on front mantle. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use one of these to enhance. And I don't want to do it on these two because these are cast hull Shermans. Okay, so there's some roundness to them. But one of these Airfix Shermans is going to have a sandbag front from this. And I thought they weren't even close to working, and they are damn close to working. So I'm going to pick this one that has the machine gun up in the air like I just don't care. And I think this one is the one that's smallest. And it even has these sandbags. Like it looks like it goes in the gap between the two. Well, it's supposed to go in the gap between the two. What do you call it? Where the hatches are. The problem is this is for a 176 scale. This is a significantly bigger tank. The model is, anyways, than this one. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, does that one fit okay? This one also seems to look like it's okay. This one does not. Okay, this is not going to be the one that goes on the Airfix one. So let's clean these things up and let's test fit some of them and see what we can come up with. This is just an example. We're not going to. That one's done. So let's clean this up. Let's enhance these Shermans. I got these a while ago. And now Armor Fast's out of business. Okay, so let's just take this one right here. Dude, this fits. That's crazy. And then the problems I really can't deal with is this X-Acto knife that just seems like all the X-Acto knives you put on the blade as tight as you can, and it goes little by little loosening itself up. I swear that didn't used to happen. All right, let's see how this one fits. Now, like a log or some shit down here. I don't know what kind of resin this is, or even if it is resin, it's not very hard. It's got some pliability to it. This stuff's called Value Gear. You get them on eBay. I haven't ordered any from Red Dog or Black Dog or any of those. Those are all in, like, I think, for only one vehicle at a time. This like gives you four of them. I think this stuff's from Arizona. No, I don't know why I'm thinking that's the case, but all right. So if I wanted this to fit on here, oh, you know, there is one more option. There is one more option. And that's the M4A3. No, doesn't fit as good on the M4A3. Let's go ahead and clean up the third one. Now, the top of this took a hit. Looks like the kid almost hit it with a screwdriver or something like that. The top of it's dented. So we'll probably fill that with sprue goo. I think these are gonna work. I think these are gonna work. I may need to spray the ground color in there before I'm done spraying it. Just spray all the way in there so I can, make my life a lot easier. But they're good looking Shermans. And it'd just be a shame not to use these two things. And now that I look at it, I don't think they're the same model. They're similar. I mean, they're both M4A1s. I just mean they're the same manufacturer. There's some subtle differences between them. Oh, this one doesn't have an ejection thing in the side of the turret. They didn't put that on there. Well, I don't know what that means. These don't have it. There's lots of websites that are really useful. One of the ones that's really useful is this one website called 172nd on the Way. And on 172nd on the Way, there are reviews of different models of all kinds. I think it's only tanks. But they'll tell you, here's a model of such and such, and the molding compound arrived. Yes, it arrived today or last night or something like that. But I made the back end, man. The back end, my fake one looks better. So I could cut it to fit. Oh, we're on a tear, man. Where you been? Out drinking? We're on a freaking tear. We repaired some tracks that were falling apart on junk tanks. We got our value gear, sandbags. It's a shame. It's a shame I'm not going to make any of these Commonwealth. It's a shame. But we'll give the Commonwealth guys proper tanks when we get around to it. We'll get those Plastic Soldier Company M4, the Sherman 3s that they make. I mean, I could make these two Commonwealth. These two, but the other ones are not Commonwealth vehicles. I mean, you could fool somebody else, but I'd know better. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, that kind of stuff. Nightmares. Now, this should fit smack on there, exactly. Because it's made for this vehicle. It's literally made for this vehicle. And this is a cool thing. I'm floored that all four of them are different. Look at this. Bam. Fits right on there. And so does this one. Yeah, I might have to tinker with this one a little bit more. Early sleeps. Oh, you got the sleeps early? You didn't have like a big bowl of ice cream or something like that. Put you over the edge, did you? That's what would do it for me. But you know what? The beauty of it is, and this one that didn't happen, this one doesn't have a nickname. So this is going to have a nickname, and so are all the other ones. And they're not die cast. Because the problem with the die cast tanks is I'm not going to drill in the die cast. That's like asking to lose a finger or something. That's okay. This one doesn't fit on great on this one. Well, maybe it's all right. I want to prime these jokers is what I want to do. Nah, that fits on there pretty good. That fits on there pretty good. That one doesn't fit on there very good. All right. And this one fits on there pretty good. All right, so judging by that, this one should be the one I move over to an Airfix one. Does it fit on the Airfix one pretty good? Which is the one that fit the best on the Airfix one? Not that one. Not that one. So it's this one. Really, no, it doesn't fit great on any of them. Now that I'm looking at it. But it would be nice to have a Sherman one with that on. What about the big boy? The big boy is 1/72. I'd like to use them all. I'd have to destroy a lot of stuff. And we agreed with this one. Yeah, you don't want to snap things off that one. That one's die cast. It's a pain in the ass. All right. Let's see. Can we? I'll have to chop a bunch of things off of this thing to get it to sit right. I think it would be this one. If I used one, it would be this one. How's the overhang look like on this? It doesn't look too bad. All right, we'll save this one for the Airfix. We'll save that one for the Airfix. These two are gonna go on. This one will go here, and then this one will go here. and they're all three different. I mean, all four of them will be different. All right. Is it time to fire up the epoxy, or you think we can get by with the super glue? Well, let's do one thing before we go and determine that we're definitely going to prime these guys. Now, this was abused by some kid. Angry child. Well, it'll be all right. If I want to get really creative, I could make one of these mantlets and then have an extra mantlet and turn one of these early Shermans into the one with the other mantlet, but then it'll be obvious that the turret's too small. Oh, they got this one like is pointed up to take something out at Monte Cassino or something. All right, let's drill out the barrel on this thing. Okay. The Armor Fast plastic is awesome. I really, really like it. What's wrong with this? This has got something on here it shouldn't have. It's got like this piece of sprue and it shouldn't have that. Wiggle it out, wiggle it out, wiggle it out, wiggle it out. Okay. Shouldn't have that. Mine didn't have it. Oh, it looks like it's part of it. Let's. M34 gun mantlet. This is the M34A1 gun mantlet. No, it didn't have that. It doesn't have that. It was even a different color plastic. So the previous owner of this must have added this because this plastic is almost like a dark green. You could see some of it here on the front. And this thing is like in a light gray. Weirdness. like reflexes. Meow. Now, what do we got here that can bash this thing? Yeah, some kid got really freaking angry. Welcome from Iceland. Not even gonna try to say your name. I just say it wrong. No. No. Scourger. Scourger. Welcome, man. What a pretty flag. It's the prettiest flag of the Nordic ones. All the same, no, they're not. That's the best looking one right there. Let's see if we can't soften this. His plastic is pretty darn soft normally, but all right, we've at least sealed that up. We're not going to use this on the rest of it. It has no center peg, so this turret is just kind of free floating there, which isn't it isn't a problem. It isn't a problem. We're going to go ahead and use this. It's all right. Your names can be difficult. Well, I gave you that free in there, so I figured, that would help. I figured you needed that boost. Almost like a Kermit the Frog sound. All you got to do is just drop me off there like a month. I'd have that down. At least you use the right alphabet. That's where I draw the line. I don't care about different languages. Can we just all agree let's use the same alphabet that everybody uses? And if you don't use the same alphabet or the same numbers, now you're just trying to be difficult. Now you're just like, you just need to just go to your corner. All right. Now, how am I going to deal with that? Well, I'll tell you how I'm going to deal with that. I'm glad you asked. We've got some sprue goo here. Now, I'm new to this. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it doesn't need to look like it took a Focke-Wulf tried to crash land on it or something. Like I said, I got this for free, so That should do all right. Now, how does this fit on here? This is going to be the trick. Find out where about here we're going to be able to glue this. All right, moving on to the next one. This is, oh, now I figured out how it is. It goes inside the mantlet. Oh, well, fuck me a running. Okay, well, it'll work just fine. This is the one I had to rebuild. Because somewhere in my many moves, it got displaced. These are going to look like a work of art. Well, maybe not these because they're just very rustic looking, but they'll be all right. They'll be all right. All right, this is the one that goes on here. Man, that fits like a glove. This is the built one, which needs an antenna. All right, now, this is the one we decided was going to be the guinea pig. Well, it has the machine gun that's sticking in the air the most. That's why we volunteered to do that one. All right, so let's remove this. Let's see what we've got to cut on this to get it to fit. All right, we need to take the inside. ¿Dónde está? Here. Let's take a look at it again. Now I forgot what I needed to do. All right, let's take the inside of this and cut this a little bit. I'm actually going to do the opposite. You're going to do what? So this is sandbags that aren't made for this model at all. Oh, yeah. Hot damn, folks. Let's think outside the box here. Yes. Take the machine gun back off. Now you can't damage the son of a bitch. Because it's not fair. That's why I decided to do this kind of stuff. Because just by having to be creative, I'm getting better at this kind of thing. Right? We're pushing the envelope. And I can quit at any time. I'm working with, junk. I mean, this is the most expensive thing here. This was free. This one was free. This one I already had. This one was free. This is the one I already had. And these were $2. Like, whoa, like, hey, big spender. I was going to take a before and after. I don't want to lose my momentum. People want to know what I did. Come watch my video. Fast forward it. This plastic was just a little bit less brittle, would be even easier. Okay, everything is removed from the front of this Sherman. Actually, it wasn't that difficult to do. Man, after working on with things that are white metal, plastic is so much easier. White metal is just make you wish you never bought it. All right, now what can we improve? Okay, we can make this a little bit fit in there a little bit better. All right, let's take a look at that. It's going to be like test fitted a bunch of times. But now we don't have that machine gun that's I'm worried about breaking. All right, this fitting on there pretty good. Really could lose this thing as well. Probably something not good for you if you guys are scared of going to the dentist. We got a lot of plaque here to get rid of. But you know what? We're going to have a custom Sherman. We're going to have a Sherman that's not available in stores. We didn't build it right off the packaging. We made it our own. Okay, that actually fits on there pretty well. Let's maybe remove some of this. And all this is not a problem because we don't have an agenda. We don't have to get this done by a certain day to go to some, to put on some event. This will get done when it gets done, and you know what? That's when it'll get done. This might actually be a job for the hot and glue gun. Oh, you can hot glue gun that too. Guess it doesn't flex that much. Well, if somebody else is going to break my shit, I'm going to break it too. I mean, I'm the one that ends up having to fix it. Yeah, let's use the super glue. Let's use this super glue. It's movable. This is the slow drying super glue. By the way, I never checked to see if this was the one that has the bad, had the bad back that I made. Nope. Okay. Kind of wish it was. Now we'll come in, put that machine gun back on. And we'll use some of this. I mean, we're pulling. We're learning some new skills, and we're putting them all to use. I'm going to move this up a little higher. There we go. That's where we want it. Where's the this toothpick? I'm lucked out that I ended up making one that was to the thick. Man, this is nice for gap filling. Unfortunately, this takes a little bit longer to dry than I would prefer, but This is like a great consistency. I'm going to be using the rest of the micro weld for this for sure. And it doesn't smell like, cancer. All right. Look at that. Now, yeah, we're doing everything. We're doing all kinds of shit at once. Yeah, I know I had lots of this stuff. What happened to it? Well, I gotta use little boy's room. I'll be right back. All right. Let's see if I can find this now. I had extra pieces of sprue. I'd like to use the same Airfix one because I had really good luck with it. Okay, here's one. Don't need a whole bunch. Just like one other one like that and I'll be all set. Here we go. got a little bit in me. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I did it on purpose, so this is going excruciatingly well. Really, really well. How's this self-leveling? May always have a dent there, but now I'm going to do the smart thing, and I think, and just leave this. We know we like the consistency of this one, so let's leave that one there. We're going to use the same material. We're just going to put it on this side. So let's cut off some of the sprue, and this takes a while to activate, because what we're using is this glue is not the Tamiya glue, even though it's in the Tamiya glue container. This is a micro weld made by Microscale, and it is more earth friendly, I guess, less toxic. It doesn't smell like hell on earth. You don't want to drink any of them, but you shouldn't be tortured by stank. Smaller pieces work better. Matter of fact, I'm going to take these little number codes. You do have to be careful with sprue. I've cut them with the Tamiya cutters, and the ends of the sprue have been so sharp, I've actually cut myself with it. How are these holding up? Oh, they'll be just fine. They're going to be just fine. No. I just wish the stuff dried quicker. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff and let's get a little pipette. Oh, let's make sure we use the right one. That's the Tamiya one. This is the one with no label, is the micro weld. Just enough to cover all the stuff. And we're going to leave that overnight. And it'll be easy to remember. That's the green one. I'm going to actually keep the that stuff from the Airfix plastic.